We are more than careers. We are we are more than careers. Welcome to We Are More Than Just Careers series. And man, my name is Eric Green.
And I'm Sarah Spath.
And we have a special guest today.
Yes, we do.
We got a special guest today.
Hey, we got Amy Hicks here in the house. And she's here today to tell us about a collaboration that Career Center has done with the student organization, whose interview we'll be listening to next. But I'll let Amy introduce herself.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. I am Amy Hicks. I am a career coach here in the Career Center. I work with alumni, I work with grad students, and through my job here, I was able to connect with some criminal justice faculty. And we have supported students to create this student org, and it is designed to provide resources for students affected by the justice system. So we call it S.O.N.G, Second Opportunities Networking Group, and I can't wait for everybody to learn more about it.
You know what song I want to sing?
What's that?
Your praises.
Oh!
I want to sing your praises. You're just amazing. And I'm super excited to introduce everybody to what you doing, to what S.O.N.G is doing. It's amazing. So
We learned
Sounds
so
good.
much.
y'all got to check it out.
Yeah,
You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
We are
We're
more than just careers.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to We Are More Than Just Careers. I am super excited to be here. We have a special organization that we are going to interview today. So we taking it up a notch. We started with staff at the Career Center, and now we're just branching out and just really talking to individuals that interest us. And when I talked to Amy the first time, and she mentioned the group that she was working with, I just got excited about it. So I'm super excited to talk to S.O.N.G organization. And thank y'all to We Are More Than Just Careers. So, yes.
We'll go ahead
Ready?
and get started.
Ready? Let's go.
I don't know if I can match your energy level,
Oh,
but
man.
I
I'm super excited.
will try. Well, I'll first just ask each of you to introduce yourselves and maybe just say a little bit of something about yourself, student or if you're a professor, and your major if you're a student. You want to start here?
Okay. My name is David, and I'm a criminal justice major. And currently, I am a junior, about to be a senior, and I will take the LSAT in October, and will be in law school next August.
I like how they said will be.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
My name is Andreas Dixon. I'm a senior lecturer in the criminal justice department. I also serve as the undergraduate program director. I've been doing this for about 8 years now, I think, full time. Prior to coming into academia, I worked as an adult probation officer for 7.5 years.
I'm Haley Zettler. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Criminal Justice, and I've been here since 2019. Before that, I was at the University of Memphis, and before that, I was actually co-workers with Professor Dixon as an adult probation officer in Denton County.
I'm Jeremiah Diaz. I'm a grad student here, a criminal justice major as well. I'm hoping to graduate in the winter of next year and go on to law school as well.
My name is Jessica Salk. I'm a senior majoring in criminal justice. As of right now, I am in the hiring process with the U.S. Marshals.
I'm Keely Hansen. I'm a junior here at UNT. I'm a criminal justice major, public health minor, and currently trying to get my certificate in trauma-informed care. So I can also work in the social work industry, and as well as I currently work at the UNT Rec Center. So I also am highly involved with public health and just working on my own health and others.
I like that, working on your own health. That is so important right now. But I'm just curious, like, how did y'all choose y'all major? Like, what made y'all want to go into like law enforcement, criminal justice, and everything that y'all mentioned?
Change. And I think the change starts from the beginning stages of school. So I see, like, once you look into into politics and you want to make a change, but it's difficult to place your input. And I think that if you put yourself in that position, then you'll be able to make a change. So that's a good answer to that question.
I definitely agree because it's a lot of times I love people that are the agents of change versus like, oh, y'all doing things wrong or y'all doing things bad and just always throwing sticks and stones, but really not living it in their own lives. So I can appreciate somebody that wants to change it from the inside out. So that's a wonderful, wonderful answer. What about y'all?
Well, I always had the mentality of people deserve help, and if I can help them, I have the responsibility to. And so I always felt like criminal justice was just the best way I could help people.
I want to say, being here at UNT and taking the criminal justice courses, we always learn about the types of crime, theories of crime, but we never talk about being after incarcerated or being in the system. What's being done to help those people guide them back to society. So that is one thing that I'm very interested in our system.
Criminal Minds, the TV show, pretty much like inspired me. I know a lot of people say that, but honestly, I would be a first person who would actually be like working within the government system, and I just find that very fascinating as well, because it's like very important to know about it, like honestly. And I just find it super interesting, and just knowing about criminal justice as a whole. It's just like, as a U.S. citizen or civilian, and overall, it's important to know like your rights and things like that.
So I'm curious for our professors how you got involved in the careers that you did.
The careers. Well, I mean, I would say that initially I went to undergrad and my major was business administration. And about 2 years after that, CSI hit the scene, and it was very popular, and I thought about wanting to get into that field. And then I reached a point to where I realized that getting those jobs the chances are very infinitesimal. So then I had to make a decision. Okay, now what do I want to do? And so I actually had an opportunity to do an internship in my senior year with the probation department where I was at school, and I learned a lot in that. And also, my uncle knew somebody who worked in the field, and I spoke to them. And so that's really what got me into probation. As far as academia, that's just more of like I went to grad school, and basically I thought I didn't like reading until I went to grad school. And in order to get through grad school, as some of you all well know, you better get to enjoying reading. And then opportunity presented itself. I had the privilege of knowing somebody that knew somebody, right? And got a job as an adjunct at a junior college, and then I was actually an adjunct here for a little while, and that's because when I was here getting my master's degree, I was the president of Alpha Phi Sigma, and at the time, Professor Tobolowsky was the liaison for that organization. And so when I finished my graduate degree, they had an adjunct position come open, and she called me. And so it's all about connections and stuff, right? So I was lucky enough and privileged enough to be in that position to get called for that, and then just fell in love with academia and getting on this side. I worked, like I said before, I worked 7.5 years in the field, and I enjoyed that. But to be on this side of it, the academic side, and to be able to, educate students and see that light bulb go off for them, especially when we talk about criminological theories and things like that, when you sort of broaden their intellectual capabilities of understanding these varied views of why crime happens, it isn't as simplistic as some think it is, So that's what brought me in academia, and I love it, along with a lot of other things that goes with the job as well. So yeah. You're welcome.
So before I went to college, I thought I wanted to be a psychology major. I was always interested in why people did things and potentially doing counseling or something like that. And then my senior year in high school, I had a family member who was sexually assaulted. And that really kind of changed my trajectory of wanting to really figure out why people can do things that harm other people. So I found out that the school I was going to had a criminology program, and I decided to kind of go that route. I thought after I graduated that I would work for a little bit in the field and then try to go into the federal system. So I really graduated with a bachelor's in criminology and said, what can I do? I don't want to be a cop. So I became a probation officer. So I did that for 4.5 years while working on my master's, and my goal was still go into the federal government. Things didn't work out in the same timeline that I had imagined for myself. And I actually, through Professor Dixon, also started teaching at the junior college he was teaching at, and really started to think, like, would this be something I would want to do? And is this the time that I want to change paths? So I decided, I also always ask, why do we do things in probation? Like, why do we do this? Why do we send people here? And people are like, why are you asking those questions? So I thought, maybe getting a PhD is for me. So I decided to change kind of gears and went back to school, got my PhD, and then became a professor after that. And I've never really looked back. I know, just by seeing all these students who I've taught, that I'm in the right place now.
Ooh, let me pull out some nuts, because this is careers. We part in careers, but one thing that I wanted to highlight that y'all said is curiosity. Like, it's a journey. Like, this career thing is a journey, and I love what you said. Somebody. Mm-hmm. You knew somebody. Mm-hmm. So that's how we tend to just keep on going on with this journey. But it was one thing that you said I want to kind of expand a little bit. You said one person was affected by sexual assault. Mm-hmm. And that really kind of shaped the direction you wanted to go. So my question to the group is, this is titled Persons Affected by the Justice System. Do y'all have any personal account where just like somebody was sexually assaulted and it shaped how the direction you wanted to go? Or even forming this group?
Family members that were incarcerated got a different deal because not having the ability to hire an attorney and not being educated with their rights, thinking that if you tell the whole story from the beginning, it's going to work in your favor when the whole time they were just building up a case. So I think that one planted the seed in me to become an attorney. When I do become an attorney, because I want to come back to UNT and help with the legal services department in regards to do cases for students, because I think it's important for them to have a good outcome, to have a good defense, regardless of the case, whether it's something minor or something big. And that would be, to me, is to give back from where I started from. So.
I also have a family member that has been justice involved. My last memory of that person before going to prison was me and my brother spending time with them watching a movie. It's still one of my favorite memories, and I didn't see him again until I was a teenager, like mid-teens, 15. And I'm still learning more about their case because I was too young to really understand. So my dad still was like, "Oh, this is what happened," and part of it is that they didn't have an attorney who understood or cared enough to do what they needed to do. And so that's why when I become a practicing attorney, I want to start a nonprofit that helps people less fortunate get legal services.
I think for me, of course, we talk about connections and curiosity. Before, my major wasn't in criminal justice, it was actually in biology. So tried that out, a lot of studying, turned out it wasn't for me. And later on, when I was young, at that time I had a brother who's a Dallas police officer, and another brother who's actually a bailiff in the family courts. And usually, like every week, they have some story about the people who are in the system, about how nobody's, wanting to look at them, wanting to care for them, that they're just a statistic, just a number. So for me, being a part of this group is a way to change that for sure.
Personally, for me, my dad grew up on drugs and smoking, and it separated my mother and him. So I grew up with my mom, just us two. They divorced when I was 6, and so that obviously brought trauma to me and sadness because I didn't have a father figure. And so that kind of inspired me to like go towards like the police and just like criminal field and things like that. Just because like I don't want other children to be like in my situation kind of thing. Because I do wish I had my dad in my life and both parents. Because majority of families who have both parents in their family grow up to be a little bit more successful or get to have both sides of learning as to how different it is from having double parents compared to a single parent. And then I also met Sean Oakman a few years ago because my mom's a personal trainer and she trained him, and he got accused of rape at Baylor University. He was a football player there. And it was false accusation. He still went to prison, and his life just went to shambles. He had to live at one of his friends' houses on the couch, just slept there for a few months, and then he was also in jail for a few years, and then came out and just did not know what to do with his life because he was hated on. He was banned from going to the Baylor University campus because of that whole rape accusation. And so meeting him, my mother would never let me around a man who would have actually raped a woman. And I met him in person, the most sweetest man ever, just so like carefree and just very nice man who just wanted the best for his own life. And he is now in the Canadian Football League. He's just working on himself, just trying to build his career and hopefully be in the NFL if that happens. So, yeah.
Before I pass it, just here, thank y'all for being vulnerable and open to sharing those sentiments. And what I love most about like organization is because my background is in organizational development. And one thing I'll be asking people is why? Why are you doing this? And when it's not clear on like why they're doing it, I'll be like, I have to question that a little bit. But when you have personal stories like y'all just shared, it just makes it that much more believable that this organization is going to be successful, that things is going to move forward, that changes is going to happen. So thank you guys for sharing that with us. And I'm just super excited about just learning more about songs, Yeah.
Going off of that, you just segued perfectly. So Eric's definitely the why man, and I am the how person in our partnership. So you all talked about why you got involved in this organization, but I'm curious how the organization started and how you personally got involved in it. I don't know who would like to. That's a big question.
I think Amy should. I think Amy should start. The mastermind.
I just got, I think, pretty lucky. So, truth be told, we had a website revamp, and part of the addition to the website was some affinity groups, and it was originally listed as students, ex-offenders. And I'm learning a lot about the language. Dr. Zettler, you can share more about that. But that it was just like it was just pre-programmed in our website. And so we were building that out, and each person was assigned. And I just had an interest in that part of the website, and not really knowing that much, but I do have some people that I know that have been arrested and in jail, and it affected their career choices. And so I was just interested in seeing what I could do with that part of the website. So not knowing very much, I reached out to the criminal justice department, just like, I'm just going to see if somebody would talk to me about helping me. And so I met Dr. Trahan, And so he was just extremely interested in collaborating with me. And that's one of the most fun that I've had is like Student Affairs Career Center, a department doing something that's totally just unique and just that willingness. So we just all connected to you all, and then you knew students, so you had the opportunity to meet with the students that you teach, and here we are. So it's just really evolved. The language has evolved on the website. We've got some real resources that are just more relevant, and just trying to create things that are just more helpful, because I know that there's students at UNT who have been affected by the system. I know that. And we just, so I'm really happy that just to the synergy that's created with these people, really, really grateful. And it wasn't a student organization at first. We just were talking about getting people involved and what that could look like. And then, just the idea of being student run and student led is what we really wanted to go after. And I know you all have experience advising student organizations, so it just really seemed to be the right thing to do.
How did each of you get involved or become aware of what was going on in this potential organization? Maybe it was an idea at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, I'm pretty close to with Dr. Trahan, and we share similar interests in a lot of different areas in criminal justice. And as soon as he, communicated with Amy, he reached out to me. And as soon as he said, we're going to be helping our students who have prior criminal justice involvement be able to help them navigate their careers or how to navigate having that justice involvement post-graduation and what that looks like and how to navigate those waters. As soon as he said that, I'm in. I mean, that's just, and then you can fill me on the rest later, but what you said right now is enough for me to get on board because as everybody was sharing a minute ago, I think, just societal wise, there's a lot of conversation about how people get into the system. There's very little conversation about what happens after the fact. Like once you get off probation, once you get released from prison, now what? Right? And so, and it's interesting too, because the reality is that we say one thing and we do another. We say to people, if you do the time, you do the crime, you do the time, you get out, it's all good. We say that, but in reality, it's like, well, you can do things to better yourself, but here's this finite amount of stuff that you can do. You can't get a license to do this. You can't get a license to do that. You can't go here. You can't do this. You can't get financial aid if it's a drug offense. And so all these loopholes, not loopholes, but all these barriers that are created, right? So we tell these people that, you've done the time, you've done the crime, now go be a functioning citizen. But by the way, when you run this race, you got to jump over a puddle, and there's a rail, there's a pocket of nails you got to walk over with bare feet, and so it's that sort of thing that is sort of the driving force of helping people navigate that, and how to interview and just ways to be productive, because I can imagine hearing stories from people that I know about how frustrating it is to try to do right, but so many barriers be put up in front of you. So if I can be an advocate and help people along that route, I mean there's no better intrinsic reward for that, in my opinion.
I don't know how I followed that. I'll just kind of echo the same sentiments, kind of the same way I became involved, the same way as Professor Dixon. My background, working both as a probation officer who saw the day-to-day impact of being in the system and the challenges that people, while they were currently on supervision, faced, and getting jobs and getting housing and staying away from family members because they're told not to affiliate with anyone else that's involved in criminal activity. Well, what if your brother's also on probation, right? All of these hurdles I saw in real time in my job. And the research I do is largely around populations that are on community supervision, so probation or parole. So obviously my interests aligned with the organization. But I think also my experience, I am currently going to be teaching in the fall the first Inside Out class here at the university, which brings together university students and incarcerated students to take a semester-long course together in a prison. And I taught that in Memphis where I was, and that really gave me the belief and the proof that education shouldn't be an additional barrier. As Professor Dixon said, there's a ton of barriers that shouldn't be in existence, but education truly should be available to everyone. And knowing that there are students on this campus that have been impacted by the system in the past or currently, and the barriers they're facing while being students, I wanted to be a aid in that process and not have being at UNT simply another hurdle. So that really kind of just aligned all of my interests and also kind of my experience.
So I'm curious for the students, if you could talk about like fears surrounding this topic, either your own fears or fears that you've seen from other individuals, just like talking about it or vocalizing or forming organization around it. Were there any fears from yourselves or others?
I think that it's difficult for a student to talk about their past for the fear of being judged. That's first and foremost. And second, I think that like some individuals that are criminal justice students that are in the system kind of feel hopeless because it's like I'm pursuing a degree that I can't even work in. And then it's like I'm currently, an individual can be on probation and going to school learning about probation. And then it's like, well, I graduated, but oh yeah, you got a degree, but it's no good here. So I think some of the speakers, like we had a speaker, David, that was incarcerated. He did time and everything, but he did something constructive with his life. And I think hearing stories like that can give the students hope. Like there is a loophole, you just gotta find it. And like how Dr. Zeller and Professor Dixon, I knew somebody. That's that somebody. And that somebody can be another somebody.
Yeah.
So I think that's the essence of the group, that through unity we can move forward. Or you just gotta just plant that seed, and that seed can be the biggest tree in the forest. So
I think the responsibility of, and I don't know, you're a career coach, and, I've had multiple students, how do I answer interview questions? What do I put on the application? And I want to be most informed and be an advocate so they can answer those questions and give them tools to navigate that process. Because that is a barrier. And I think, staff and faculty learning more about that if you come across someone that, talks to you about that, is how can we help? How can we be informed to help inform them? So that was really important to me because I've experienced that, and that's just the ones that happen to make it to me. I mean, that's, so I like that we as, Career Center staff are, it was on the website for a reason. These students need different kind of career support. So I think it's really important that we reach out and learn and try to advocate.
My fear was mainly for this organization was that we weren't going to be as effective as we hoped, because I realize every day that I'm extremely lucky to be where I am. I'm a first-generation college student. My siblings are still on their journey with education, but I'm lucky to be the first one to graduate. And so being in a position where I am a grad student, I realize that I have the responsibility to do what I can to help other students. And I'm always afraid that I'll fall short of my expectations for myself. And so thankfully that hasn't happened, but that was kind of my fear going into this.
I think I will say, I've had a couple of students as peers, come to me and say, hey, I'm applying for this job, and they always ask, well, how do I answer this question, or how do I go about it? I remember Dr. Zeta mentioned about the block stigma, checking block stigma, where where students were filling out an application, comes a question that asks about their justice involvement, right? It's either yes or no. Usually when they answer that, usually the employer, they check that box, let's discard the application, just because they check that box. They don't look at what that student has done since their justice involvement. It's always what did they do then, not what they have done since. They don't look at have they gone to school? Have they been working? Have they done anything to show that that was just a one time thing? And with this group, I was starting to say like a lot of students have that fear. So I hope that with this group we can help cure that fear for sure.
I would go back on what Jeremiah said about falling short. Like going into the criminal justice like education, it's like scary because you don't know where you're gonna end up within like jobs or like you may have a dream job, but you may not go for that dream job. So like sometimes I'll like double guess myself, like did I really was criminal justice actually like the degree plan I really want to go for? But ever since I joined Alpha Phi Sigma, which is the Criminal Justice Honor Society, I've met a lot of other people who are in the criminal justice degree plan and just gone to meet guest speakers and also like get more connected with professors within the department and just felt more comfortable with going through with criminal justice because I think it's very important and everyone within the department is very friendly and nice and just comforting, as well as becoming a part of S.O.N.G will also hopefully be beneficial and build up other students within the criminal justice system as well to just want to be a part of the community and just build it as a department.
I don't know if we talked about what S.O.N.G stands for.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, I think
That's it.
Yes.
Now, another master plan.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, S.O.N.G stands for Second Opportunity Networking Group.
Second opportunity at work group.
Connection, opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny when you was talking about S.O.N.G. I was thinking about the question. I was like, what song can relate to S.O.N.G?
Yeah.
What song can y'all identify with that tells the message? I was like, that's too deep. I just didn't know what song it is.
Tupac changes.
There you go. Yeah, that's
There you
good.
go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So let's flip it. The fears. Can y'all tell me some success moments that y'all had? Because I seen the workshop that when you first talked about songs with me, I was like, wow, I was impressed. So what are some success moments that y'all had, either on an individual level or collectively, that y'all would like to share?
I think for me, when we had the legal services event, that was probably one of the highest for me because there were so many people who showed up because either they're in that situation or because they care enough to show up, And so that just kind of helped me be like, oh, we're doing something good. We're having an effect on someone at least.
I mean, the high for me is seeing students, I forgot to teach all of these students individually and sometimes now a couple of classes each, and just seeing their initiative and their desire to make a change in the system really has been inspiring to me and reaffirming that I made the right choice for myself in my career. But also seeing the future, the last few years has been especially a dark time, I think, looking at our legal system and seeing these young, excited and, really critical, but in a good way, critical students that want to go in and make the difference, because sometimes I do feel guilty that I left the system and now I'm like, preaching from my ivory tower, but seeing how that now has gone to them, at least in some small way, but obviously just the amazing people that they are and what they want to go do and be the change has been the high for me.
I've just been so excited about how open
criminal justice like is to this, and the professors like in the legal department. I mean, I think it's just such an underutilized, misunderstood service to UNT students that you all paid for. And it could have a significant impact to have your expungement paid for free. Like, that's life changing. And so their interests, like, they want to do more. They want to re-record that. I mean, it was really a highlight for me is just seeing other departments, other people, other professionals like really want to get into this. Really cool.
So we probably should wrap up soon. Do you have another question?
No.
I've got one
You got
last
one?
one.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would like to go around and just ask each of you, what are you most excited about or most looking forward to with respect to this group and what it could do?
The opportunities and the speakers that we have lined up for fall. I think I have a good feeling about it. And networking with other criminal justice organizations. I think getting the participation thing up, and I'm excited because we have already a plan in motion. So hopefully everything goes, as planned.
I'm just excited about watching this organization grow. I mean, you want to talk about, grassroots, organic formation, and then just blossoming to what it will be and can be. It's just really exciting to think about. As David just alluded to, bringing in speakers and putting on events, and just really educating not only criminal justice students, but students across the campus about what their rights are and what's next for them once they graduate and how to help them along in their career. I think those opportunities are significant in terms of what we can do as an organization.
Yeah, I'll echo all the things that have been said before, but I think just bringing attention to this really understood, I guess, issue, because so much of our, I think, just general public focuses on problems on the front end with policing and things like that, but we don't have a conversation about the impact that follows someone potentially for the rest of their life and the punishments that come along with actual punishment. So just getting that out there, getting this a light shown on this topic and across our student body, like all the students have said, this isn't a criminal justice issue. This is a societal issue, and hopefully reaching out to a larger audience and both at UNT but the surrounding community would be what I would hope in the future happens.
What I'm most excited for is Dr. Zeller mentioned her Inside Out class, and I reached out to her about having an event for those students, whether it be with an organization that helps them navigate college after they get out or finding a job after they get out, because those people are the ones that specifically need help a lot right now. And so just being able to help them in some small way is probably what I'm looking most forward to.
Like every student organization, right? I mean, one of the goals is to recruit members. But I feel like with this organization, not only just to recruit members, but also to help them make connections. Because I feel like once our members make connections, they'll also find opportunities, to help pass their barriers.
I would say not only connections and networking, but also being able to do in-person events more, especially within the incoming year, because we've mainly been relying on Zoom and just doing things through GroupMe or like texting and things, not actually getting to be face-to-face and enjoying each other, because Alpha Phi Sigma will do things on Zoom and things, but I haven't actually gotten to really in-person hang out with people who enjoy the same hobbies and interests as me. So that I'm really excited to just be able to meet fellow members who will hopefully be within our org and other criminal justice organizations helping us out as well.
With Amy to first started. What are you looking forward to?
I can't even, just everything, just being, just this caring, this, and not just caring, but the action, like wanting to just make in our mission statements like the real change, and that's what I'm seeing and hearing. So I just want to know how students can find out about these upcoming events. Can you follow? I mean, social media and in S.O.N.G. Check it out, right? That's all going to be posted.
Where do they go? What's your
What's your
handle? That's what it's called.
I believe we are still making
Okay.
those social medias,
Sure.
but they can find us on S.O.N.G if they look up S.O.N.G or Second Opportunity Networking Group. That'd probably be the best way right now.
Great. Awesome. Thank you all
Awesome.
so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you being here and having a conversation with us.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to just end off with this. I know, Amy, you with because of your curiosity, this launched, and because of you guys' engagement, it's the race. Even though it be the bed of nails, even though you got to go through those hurdles, it's like you're running the race for a good cause, and I really, really appreciate that. Thank y'all for coming. It fits we are more than just careers.
Yeah,
it
because
does.
this goes beyond. We are more than just careers. So with that being said, thank you guys. I appreciate it. We are more than just careers.
Catch you next time.
Peace.